Hey everybody, it looks like we are live streaming, so I'm testing out a new platform, so please bear with me here. I'm actually using a platform called OBS, so this allows me to actually give you more live elements within my streams. I know it looks kind of, cheesy right now, but I thought I'd test out, the live ticker and throw up the logo over there on the TV. So thank you so much for joining me for another edition of Saturday Stock Talk. Let me know if you can hear me okay, see me okay. Just let me know where we're at, you guys. So I wanted to talk about a few different things going on, especially, what the heck has been going on in the market. I mean, it's been absolutely insane, you guys. So this past week has been very tumultuous in terms of ups and downs, mostly downs. And I wanted to see if we're in correction territory. So let me pull up some stats here. So the Dow is down as of Friday 1.19%, and overall it's down like 3-4% for the week, I believe. So it's been up and down. All the gains that we made for the year, I believe, have been erased. So I just don't know. I don't know what to say about that. So I'm trying to take a look at these live chats here. So we see Baby Become a Better You. What's going on, buddy? You've been a longtime supporter of the channel, and you have a great channel yourself. So if you haven't checked him out, everybody go take a look at his channel. His production quality is very good, and you can tell that he puts a lot of time and effort into his videos. So let me actually see if I can move this up. Okay, I'm just kind of messing around with this right now, so bear with me. Eric Gulch says, what's up? Abdul Khan, what's up, buddy? Abdul, I see you here every week, man. I really appreciate it. So everybody, let me know if you can see the chats, if you can see the ticker and all that. If everything looks good, just let me know in the chat box. I'd really appreciate it. Matt Taylor from London, what's up, buddy? I have cousins that live in London. They live in Wimbledon, so big ups from Europe. Waiting in Weed says, good day, sir. Nice to see the live show. That's really good. I appreciate that. So yeah, guys, I'm not sure how to share my screen just yet, so I don't want to mess around with it on a live stream. I'll figure out how to do that one of these days. But ultimately, I mentioned earlier, the Dow was down about 300 points on Friday. And if we look at the 5-day, it just keeps going down and down. We started the week at about 25,500, and it slowly declined to about 24,700. Okay, so we're down about 800 points there, you guys. So the biggest question is, are we in correction territory? Why is everything in the red? Even companies that are beating their earnings reports, they're kind of getting hit by these 6, 7, 8% losses as well. Nemanja Shunjevich, what's up, buddy? Nice to see you, bro. Are you still in Vegas or what? Where you at now? I haven't seen you in a while. So a couple different topics. I know I'm kind of rambling here. I set up this live stream almost like last minute, so I didn't have too big of an agenda on hand. So that's why I'm really hoping that people will be chatting and contributing on the live stream here. So Elvis Hidalgo says, is Nvidia a good buy? So that's a good question. Nvidia, a lot of people is a fan favorite, and I liked it as well. But yeah, it took a couple big chunks and a couple big hits over the past 5 days here, you guys. So Nvidia started the week at about $231, and now it's trading just under $200. So the consensus about Nvidia is that it's a good company, but I don't know. The stock is off. It's 39% high. So I don't know what's been going on. I wish I could share these charts with you. I'll figure out how to do that next week. But you can see here that just about a month and a half ago, we've had about a drop of about 39%. So right now, I mean, based on the chart, it looks like it's ready to be bought at a discount. However, I just don't know where tech stocks are going right now. I think tech stocks in general are going to cool off for a little bit here. If you signed up for my weekly stock pick, you would have gotten that last night being Friday at around 10 p.m. Eastern time. And actually, Google was my stock pick for that free stock, and I justified why. I think that their numbers are up over over the second quarter going into the third quarter. And I think that Google, they're just a well-run company. But to answer your question, Elvis, it looks like it's a good buying opportunity at this point. It's at a 52-week low, and we'll see what happens there. So Eric Gulch says, what do you think about Facebook and Shopify? So Facebook, if you remember, guys, I recommended them in my stocks to buy in October. Probably shouldn't have recommended a tech stock in October, just because October has historically been kind of a crappy month for stocks. But yeah, Facebook, they have so many different avenues of monetizing, such as WhatsApp, such as Instagram, Oculus Rift, just all these things that are going out into the future, 3, 5, 10 years from now. So Facebook, yeah, it's definitely down. I believe it's down 14-15% for the year. But it's still a strong company, and they're tied in. They're tied in with government. They're tied in with a lot of big players, and no one's going to allow them to flop, excuse me. So Zuck, he's been doing the right things, but there's a lot of concern with Facebook's security and hacking. So that's also an issue. One more, Russian hacking scandal or whatever you want to call it, whether that's true or not. And Facebook stock could plunge about 15-20%. Let me hit a light real quick, you guys. Here, I'm getting a bad shadow. Okay, let me know if that's better. I think it's better. So yeah, thank you for your questions. Okay, let's see what we got here. So Julie's Country, +1. Nice to see you, Julie. Thank you for joining us. Elvis, I know you recommended Align Technology a couple months ago. Do you still recommend? That was way more than a couple months ago. And Align, let me pull that up here. Let's see what's going on with Align. I know they've had a little bit of a dip here. So for those of you that don't know, Align Technologies, they make Invisalign. So if you have any coworkers or know any adults or people that are not necessarily in their teens when people get traditional braces, Align makes Invisalign. It's essentially that clear, it's almost like a retainer, but it goes over your teeth and it helps straighten your teeth without having that actual metal brace. So let's see here. Align. What do we got going here? So Align Technology, yeah, I believe it's at 230 right now. It's down percent since trading on Friday. The analysts that I'm seeing, they have 7 are recommending it as a strong buy. 1 is recommending it as a hold. The outlook that they have going over the next year from October of 18 to October of 2019, they have a line at an average target price of $343.71. So they see a huge upside with a line at 49% upside. So all the top dogs are recommending them. Some have a price target of 346. Some have a price target of 375. There's actually a high of 420, which I don't know. But you have to realize, you put yourself in that position. If you're someone that's an adult, you don't necessarily want to get braces at that age. So I still believe in the Invisalign technology, and I don't think it's easily replicable. My buddy Nemanja says, hey, still in Vegas. Nice to see you live. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you supporting the channel. I appreciate that. Kumar, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Real estate versus stock market investing, which gives better returns in the long run? So great question. So I invest in rental properties. I worked in commercial real estate for many years, and I also work in commercial banking and finance now. So I kind of see both ends of the spectrum. So with my personal stock portfolio, I've pretty much outperformed the S&P 500 over the last 12 years, and I'm 30 years old, so I've seen both bull and bear markets. I lived through one of the worst recessions right about when I started investing, so almost everything was on sale. But to answer your question, real estate, there's so many tax advantages with real estate to where not only can you make money off the rental income. So let's make an apples to apples comparison here. Let's say rental property, let's call it a house. Okay, you're getting monthly income every month from that tenant. Let's take a dividend stock. Every month, every 6 months, every quarter, whatever, you're getting money from that dividend. You're getting paid to own that company. You're getting paid to own that house, that rental property. So there's tax advantages to where you're not only owning the stock, quote unquote, but you're also owning the property as well, and it's tangible and it's real. So a lot of people like that rather than something that's just digital, like a stock. It's a stock sitting in a portfolio. You can't touch it, you can't feel it, you can't smell it. So not only can you get appreciation on the property, you also get tax benefits as well in terms of writing off expenses, interest if you have a mortgage, things like that. And you're also getting paid by your tenant a few $100 a month, $1,000 a month, couple $1,000 a month, whatever the rent is. So after that house is paid off, not only do you own the house, which you can sell at a later date, you also have accumulated all that cash flow over the ownership period. So it's kind of like, owning your car versus leasing a car. When you lease a car, you just rented it. When you own the car, you can drive it, and then you can sell it at the end when you want to get a new car. So yeah, real estate, it all depends on what market you're in. Some markets are better for appreciation, kind of like if you guys follow Graham Stephan, Los Angeles, San Francisco, those appreciation markets are crazy. New York. Other markets, where I live in the Midwest, I live in Cleveland, Ohio, you can get a relatively low cost rental property in a decent neighborhood and still make, $800, $900, $1,000, $1,500 a month in rent, but you own the property for, let's call it 80, 90 grand right now. After the recession, there were decent houses going for 40, 50 grand in a suburb of Cleveland, and it's still good tenants. These people have decent jobs, they're decent tenants, and you're making a nice fat return because you own the home for a low cost, or a basis, if you will, and you're still making that appreciation in terms of, not appreciation in the house, but you're getting paid monthly from the rent, if that makes sense. So I know that was a long-winded answer, but it's a very sensitive subject, and I think the best answer is to delve a little bit in everything, stock market investing and also real estate. The reason why I'm gravitating more towards stocks on this channel is because I think it's more attainable for people. Not everyone has 20% down payment to go buy a rental property. And all those guys that talk about, $0 down and hard money and all that stuff, that's great, but that's very risky, especially for someone that doesn't have a lot of money. So that's why I'm gravitating more towards stocks, because it's easier to get into. You can buy a share of Amazon for $1,700. You can buy a share of, whatever for $20. It's a low barrier to entry. So speaking on stocks, I will be having a private membership here where I release my portfolio. You get 100% transparent access to it. All my trades, you're notified the second they happen. Pretty much everything. I'm going to have my friend who's an equity research analyst. He's going to be providing Wall Street quality reports every month. It's going to be an insane amount of value. So keep your eyes out for that. So PW says, good day, sir. How you doing, my friend? Thank you for joining. Boss Babe Blue, hi from Ohio. What's up, fellow Buckeye? How you doing? Where are you from? Cleveland in the house right here. PW, how do I sign up for your weekly stock? Just look in the description below. It should be there. It's just a bit.ly link. Bit.ly is just a shorter way to create a link so it's not ugly and long. Just go in the description of the video below, click the bit.ly link and sign up. So was okay. Should we invest in Bitcoins now instead of the stock market? So that's a good question. I get this question a lot. And I'm by no means a cryptocurrency specialist, but I've followed it since about 2013 or late 2012. Bitcoin itself is, it's groundbreaking technology. I think the blockchain, I think cryptocurrency is going to be here to stay, just not yet. So I don't know if I would bet on an emerging industry or an emerging concept this early in one specific currency. So like you asked specifically about Bitcoin. Who knows if Bitcoin is going to be relevant? It could become a non-existent car company in 10 years. It could be Tesla potentially. Who knows? So although they're the pioneers and although they're doing a great job with promoting their product through social media, I know they're not promoting it directly. It's anonymous. It's Satoshi Nakamoto. But there's a lot of hype on social media that talks about Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Who knows if it's even going to be around in 5-10 years, you guys. There could be a new technology to replace it. So me personally, I would not invest in Bitcoin over stocks. Stocks are established. Stocks are in every 401k portfolio. There's so much money and so many American consumers tied directly to the stock market through their retirement funds that it's not even funny. Whether you're a pension plan, whether you're a Roth IRA, whether you're 401k, all these people are investing in stocks and they have money in the game. It's almost impossible to explode because you would ruin so many people's lives. So stocks are here to stay. Who knows, 20, 30 years from now, I don't know. No one knows. I don't have a crystal ball. But in my opinion, stocks are more stable at this point, for my opinion. So good question. Thank you so much for asking that. So Wen Chen, good morning, Wen. How you doing? I remember you from a couple weeks ago. Not sure if you joined us last week, but thank you for joining again. Apollo Don, what do you think of Nvidia as a buy right now? So that was asked just about 5-10 minutes ago. Nvidia is at its 52-week low. So who knows? It could be a great discount right now. I believe in the company. I actually recommended them about a year ago. They make gaming is so big right now that Nvidia's graphics cards and all the different products that they make are so hot, and it's not going to go away. Esports is a huge industry, and it's only getting bigger and bigger. I think the future is going to be kind of like Ready Player One. If you've ever seen Ready Player One, or I actually read the book on my honeymoon last year. It's insane. It's about a character from Columbus, Ohio, and he pretty much lives in the slums in the real world, but he's got this VR headset to where he's like a king in virtual reality, and I think that's going to be the future, unfortunately. So to answer your question, Nvidia is at a deep discount right now. It very well could be a buy, but obviously I'm not a financial advisor. You got to do your own research. Peturarno Gmail, do you invest outside of USA, for example, to indices like MSCI World? So yes, I do. I actually own Vanguard's International Stock Fund. Hasn't been doing too well the last couple of months, but yeah, that ETF I do own, and I own a few shares of it. So yeah, not my best pick in the world, but it's a long-term it's a long-term pick. JJ Buckner, it's good to see you back making videos. As for the market, I just keep slowly averaging down in my current positions that I'm currently in, and I've opened a few new positions with this downtrend. Okay, that's very smart. And me as a value/dividend investor, I make a few speculative picks here and there with cannabis stocks and some high-risk companies. But yeah, everything is on sale. It just depends on how much further it's going to drop. And even then, all you have to do is dollar cost average. So it doesn't really matter what the stock is doing as long as you're making those dividends and as long as you're investing in value-added companies. So value investing is my philosophy. Long-term holds. I'm going to discuss all that in the membership group. But at the end of the day, you guys, investing is a long-term game. A lot of people want this instant gratification with this penny stocks and with this trading and stuff. You guys, it's just too risky for me at the point of life that I'm in. If I was, early college, I was looking at Forex, I was looking at day trading, I was looking into all that stuff. And I just realized when I turned 18, it's better to invest in long-term companies. Slow and steady really does win the race. But that's not to say there aren't opportunities out there like cannabis stocks. I made 100% returns on my cannabis stocks. There's companies out there that are game changing that you should allocate some of your portfolio to, maybe 2-3% of the more riskier companies. So excuse me here. So Wen Chang, should we start buying equities now, or should we wait just before after the midterms? So very good question. That's been asked a lot on this channel and also in the comments. So I think everything right now is going into a slight correction, and I think I would be patient and see what happens in the month of November. I know things slow down in December. The bankers are on holiday, and everyone's on holiday and things like that. So, January is going to be very interesting. February is going to be very interesting. But I'd say for October, November, I'd just be, I'd be careful right now, to say the least. Nathan Grimard, what stockbroker do you use? So a good question, Nathan. So for my Roth IRA, I use Vanguard just because I've been using it since I was 18. I've contributed the max allowable amount in your Roth IRA pretty much my entire life. So my retirement account is with Vanguard. I did a lot of my stock trading with Robinhood when it came out just because I like the commission-free trades. Excuse me. Even though I don't trade that often to where the commission-free trades are going to make that big of an impact. Sorry, I was just drinking some water here. I still believe that Robinhood is a good platform. However, I did recently switch over to M1 just to try it out, and I will have a review coming out about M1 soon. So M1 Finance is pretty cool. It's kind of like a hybrid. It allows you to buy partial shares. It's almost like a robo-investor, but not. You kind of have control over it just like a regular portfolio. So I'll give a full review about that later here. The reason I got off of Robinhood is because there was an article that came out, I think in September, that they started selling your information and stuff. And let's be honest, every app you download, whether it's Candy Crush or Clash of Clans or whatever, they all mine your data. It's inevitable. Who actually reads the terms of service? So it's to be expected. But me, I'm a privacy kind of guy. Even though I am kind of a public figure on YouTube and I put myself out there, I do strongly believe about privacy. I'm not doing anything wrong, but it's just it's a part of human nature. I enjoy privacy, so that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So I am trying out M1, but for the interim, I do still have stocks in Robinhood, and I do have some stocks in Vanguard. So good question. I know that was a long-winded answer. Boss Bay Blue, she says Hilliard, Ohio. Okay, what up, Hilliard? I'm going to be in Columbus, I believe, week after next, interviewing Will Motivation. So if you haven't checked out Will Motivation's channel, he's from Columbus, Ohio. I think he's got like 60,000 subscribers. He's got a Lamborghini, but he's a real estate investor, but he's not one of those, Tai Lopez's of, oh, I'm here in my garage, I'm Will Motivation, even though he does sometimes film videos in his garage. He seems like a really good guy. I've been talking to him via email, so I'll be in Columbus in a couple weeks to interview him. So yeah, what up, Hilliard, fellow Buckeye? Waiting in weed, I'd be interested in your perspective on the cyclical nature of the stock market. So good point. So it hasn't been too cyclical over the past 9 years. It's been just a freaking rocket ship, to be honest. But yeah, there's definitely cycles, just like in any industry, just like in any company. They may have up times, down times, things like that. But yeah, I can make a video about that. It's just too broad of a subject to talk about right now. And also, Waiting in Weed mentioned, as you had indicated, October has typically been a bearish month for tech and other sectors in your experience. And that's true. If you guys want to Google stock market October history or something along those lines, you can definitely learn a lot. There's a lot to be read there. Barrett Joseph Kearns II, have you been increasing your cash position? So yeah, as a percentage of my portfolio, yeah, I believe I got rid of some stocks that were just average. And I have, let's see here, I don't know exactly, and I don't want to pull up my information right now, but I have over $100,000 invested in my portfolio, and I'd say about 15% of that is cash. So keep in mind, you guys, I invest in both real estate and the stock market, so I'm not one of these people that's going to be like, oh, I have $1 bajillion in my portfolio. Find out how I did that from 18 to 30. Like I'm invested in a lot of different things. Real estate is great. Stock market is great. My friends' venture companies. That's high risk, but it could also be high reward. So to answer your question, let's see. I do have some cash in there, but it's not going to be put to use right away, if that makes sense. That cash that sits in my stock portfolio is there for when things go on sale. So if there's companies out there that go on sale, for example, like a good quality company that I believe in, that cash is used to buy up more of those shares and kind of dollar cost average up or down, if that makes sense. So thank you for the question. So let's see here. Kumar, what strategy do you use for analyzing a company stock for the long run? So I think everyone needs to use screeners. You don't have to do that. That's just my opinion. It makes everything easy. I'm kind of a visual learner. So FinViz, if you guys have never used FinViz, it's just FINVIZ.com. That's a great visual stock screener. My strategy is obviously you have to look at PE ratios. You have to see if stocks are relatively cheap or expensive with that metric. So ultimately, I'm not going to divulge that in this video. It's just too complicated to do on the fly. There's so many different factors. I think the biggest thing is keep it simple, you guys. You have to really understand the company and what they do. If I'm not a professional in something, or if I don't understand every intricacy of a business, I'm not going to pretend like I do. I don't have any pride, so to speak, to where it's like, oh, yes, Align Technologies, their molecular forming to your teeth provides... No, I'm going to keep it simple. If I understand what they do at a very rudimentary, very fundamental level, then I'll invest in the company. You have to believe in management. You have to believe in fundamentals. You have to believe in, some people could be technical traders, which I don't really follow. To me, that's kind of like technical analysis is not for me. It's just not my cup of tea. I actually addressed that last week on the show. So I'm actually a person that believes in management, long-term outlook. I'm kind of like a Warren Buffett investor, if you will. You got to buy low, sell high, even though I know it sounds cliche. It really is. So Waiting in Weed, in your experience over the past 12 years, can you comment on the concept of the Santa Claus rally in November and December? Good question. So I've not delved into this deeper, so I cannot speak intelligently about it, but I have heard this brought up before. I don't know. Maybe it's people getting excited for the new year. Maybe they think stocks are going to do better than they are with quarterly reports, things like that. I don't really know, and I can't comment intelligently. So if you guys have been watching me for a long time, if I don't know something, I admit it. I'm not going to sit here and talk out of my butt. But for everyone interested in that, Google that. I think that's pretty interesting. The Santa Claus rally in November and December. No, not at all. No need to apologize for the staggered sections. I completely understand what you're asking. Wen Cheng, I got in at Facebook at 168, and now that it's at 145, I don't know if I should buy more. Your thoughts? So this is the conundrum that, people that are kind of like swing traders or emotional traders, and I'm not calling you either of those things because I don't know your portfolio or your holdings. But what I will say is when I invest in a company, it's going to be for a long term unless it's a very short-term play, kind of like a swing trade. So like if I thought, Facebook dropped or Nvidia dropped, and I know it's going to go back up, nothing is for certain, but if I'm very confident that it's going to be back up, then I'll hold it for a month. But the companies that I invest in and what I recommend on this channel is that you should be looking for long-term companies. So even if you bought it at 168 and it went to 145, that shouldn't faze you because you're in it for the long haul, if that makes sense. So with that being said, if you should buy more, that's up to you. It just really depends on your investor profile. It depends on your appetite for risk. I think Facebook has a bright future, but I could absolutely be wrong about that. I'm not going to sit here and pound a certain stock because I don't have skin in the game to do so, and I don't think that's fair for my viewers. So Buffcon said hello from Paris. Hello, how you doing? Nice to see you again. I was in Paris a couple months ago with my wife. It was absolutely beautiful. I loved it. Food was great. Actually, let me say this. The food sucked, the women were ugly, and the wine was terrible. I'm just kidding. That's sarcasm. Yeah, Paris was awesome. I'm 20 and I have around $10,000 in my bank account or 10,000 euros. Is it the right time for me to invest some of my hard-earned money in stocks? My parents taught me to be super careful with money. So you have good parents. That's good that they're cognizant about that. So it all depends, buddy. You gotta know what kind of profile you are. You have to know what kind of investor are you. Are you a swing trader? Are you a day trader? Are you someone that wants to be in a stock for long term? Stocks should only be a portion of your wealth, okay? So don't put all your eggs in one basket. I know I sound like a 60-year-old financial advisor, but that really is the case, you guys. So use stocks as a leverage to get a better wealth building tool over the long term. That's how I look at it. So, I still work a 9-to-5 job. That's part of my income. I get a little bit of income from YouTube ads, not much, maybe enough to get, a couple nice dinners with my wife every month or something like that. I get income from my rental properties. I get appreciation from my rental properties. I get dividends from some of the companies that I own in my portfolio. So with 10 grand, I think that's a great amount to start with. But for me, my golden rule is I'm not sure about Europe because I live in the United States, but make sure that your retirement profile or your retirement fund is fully funded, whatever that max allowable amount is in Europe. And again, I'm not sure. Make sure you do that every year because that is the number one safety net that you can at least have. I know everyone wants to make 200% returns and drive Lamborghinis and Ferraris and all that. Dude, trust me on this one. Your health and your time are the two most important things in your life. And after that is making sure that you're set for retirement. You do not want to be a burden on your family. You do not want to be eating, dog food and cat food in retirement. And I know Europe's a little bit better about that with their socialist or more, left-wing policies, if you will. My grandparents live in Europe. I know what it's like. They live very well. But in the States, at least, make sure that your retirement portfolio or your yearly maxable allowable amount is fully funded, if that makes sense. So is now the right time to invest is the second part of your question. Do dollar cost averaging. So if a stock that you really believe in and really like is $10, buy $10 of it every month. It all depends on what the stock price is. So say you want to invest $100 every month in one stock, it doesn't matter what the price is at that point. In January, if it's $10, invest $100. In February, if it's $12, invest $100. In March, if it's $20, invest $100, so on and so forth. If it dips back down, great. If not, it's going to appreciate over time if you believe in the company and if it's a fundamentally sound company. But obviously, past results are not a guarantee of future returns. So thank you for your question, Bufkon. So Aravind Kumar, are you investing in Indian stock market? So give me a second here to take a sip of water. I'm talking a lot and I'm probably going 100 miles an hour, you guys. 1 second, please. Okay, so do I invest in the Indian stock market? No, I do not. Maybe it's just out of ignorance. I've never even looked into it, to be honest with you. I don't know what the rules or regulations are. I don't know if you guys have an SEC or a regulatory body. I don't know. And that's why I stick to exposure for my foreign stocks through ETFs. So like a Vanguard ETF. That exposes you kind of to like, foreign countries, foreign companies. But the stock or the ETF or the company that's issuing the ETF is still regulated within the United States. So I know the standards are, somewhat high. So I'm not going to say United States is perfect. No one or nothing is perfect, but I know what I'm investing in. So to answer your question, no, I do not invest directly in the Indian stock market. Wen Cheng, thank you, Marco, for the insight. My pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me again. Baby, become a better you. You should stop by in Belgium for an interview. Okay, next time I'm visiting my grandparents in Europe, maybe. Yeah, we can definitely do that. Or if you want to go to Montenegro, that's where my other set of grandparents live. Montenegro is beautiful. Maybe you can take a mini vacation. Quick shout out to Montenegro, Serbia. If you guys haven't been to the Balkans, it's absolutely beautiful. Doesn't have the best PR in the world, but who cares? It just makes everything better and cheaper for when I go. Belgrade's beautiful, Montenegro's beautiful, so check it out. I actually proposed to my wife in Montenegro. Nathan Grimard, what is your opinion on emerging markets? I know you said you like slow and steady growing markets. So emerging markets, it definitely belongs in a portfolio. You can definitely hit it off with. It depends on what your definition of emerging markets is. If you're talking about like BRIC countries like Brazil, Russia, India, China, whatever, that could be a different definition, or maybe emerging markets in terms of, new companies, IPOs, things like that. So the way I define emerging markets is that these are markets that have almost been kind of like third world, second world up until recently, which we're seeing a lot in Brazil. I know their economy hasn't been doing too well over the past few years. Russia, they're slowly becoming a powerhouse again with Putin as president. So yeah, I definitely believe that emerging markets should be a part of your portfolio. Absolutely. It just depends on how much you want to allocate of that. So guys, let me know how you like this new layout. I don't know if it's cheesy or what. I kind of just threw something together. Let me know if you like the new logo. Let me know if you like the stream on the bottom. Let me know if this is, sorry, I'm like all messed up here. If the chat box is okay, just any feedback would be greatly appreciated, you guys. Thank you. So let's go back to the questions here. Wen Chang, how far do you think Tesla will go up to? Some people say 1K in the long term. So I don't know. I don't own any Tesla. Again, I mentioned this last week. Bless you if you own Tesla. Bless you if you don't. So I know that sounds kind of corny, but that's just my thoughts on Tesla. Tesla is one of those companies that was originally, and I believe still funded by the government to get started with, subsidies and things like that. Do I really believe in that? I don't know. Do I think the technology is great and causes less pollution? Yes, overall, even though batteries are very bad for the environment, especially it depends on how you dispose of them. But I digress. Going back to your question, what is your opinion or how far do I think Tesla will go? Excuse me. I don't know. I know that sounds like a cop-out and kind of like a crappy answer, but Tesla could, go to zero or it can go through the moon. It just really depends. And right now we're at such a shaky point in its stock, I don't know. So taking a quick look at my sources here, Tesla traded at $330 a share. It's been up 5% since Friday. And I know that it's kind of like, doing pretty well over the last couple of days. I know there's a lot of people that believe in it. Sorry, I'm not sure if the stream is doing okay here, you guys. Let me know. Sorry, I don't know if we're lagging or what here, you guys. So, yeah, just feel free to contact me in the chat. So sorry when I know I'm digressing here. I know it's not the best TV to be talking like live right now, but it looks like my internet's kind of hiccuping here. Okay. So yeah, to answer your question, Tesla is one of those stocks that can go to zero. It can go to the moon. Some people, so looking at my sources here through my analysts, we have 6 buy, 6 hold, and 6 sell. I've never seen this before, you guys. So these 18 analysts that I follow, literally 33% have it as a buy, 33% have it as a hold, 33% have it as a sell. This is insane. I've never seen this before. So analyst target price is actually going through October of 2019. They have it at $326.27, which is actually 1.5% lower than what it is right now. Some people have it at 430. Some analysts have it at 326, which is the average. And the low is actually, get this, you guys, 190. So this is insane, man. Yeah, some of these target prices are much lower than what the stock is trading at right now. So to be completely honest, if I'm speaking from the gut and speaking from the heart, Tesla's technology and the technology is great. The cars themselves are okay. Like, don't get me wrong, they're fast. They're fast. They're awesome. You got the big screen. It's really cool. I've driven a couple of them. But me, I know I mention this every week. I'm a car guy. It's just, I don't know. It just depends on regulations too. This brings me to a good point. I know I'm all over the place right now, but this brings me to a good point. Regulations have a lot to do with how cars are going to be produced in the future. So combustible engines may not even exist 20 years from now. Maybe governments will outlaw combustible engines, or you have to get a special permit, or there's going to be huge taxes on combustible engines, meaning that electric cars, they may be the only thing on the road, 40, 50 years from now. And people are going to be buying combustible cars as like collector's cars at a ridiculous upsell, if you will, or a premium. So I don't know if that makes sense. So I know this was a super long-winded answer, but Tesla can go either way. But I think regulation is going to have a lot to do with their viability of their company and product. So Aravind Kumar, which sector in the stock market has a great future in the long term? I think healthcare. For the United States, healthcare is always going to be a winner. This country is fat. A lot of people are obese and unhealthy, and those are just facts. So I'm not trying to offend anyone, and if you're offended by that comment, by factual comments, I feel bad for you. Americans, 67% of this country, I believe, is either obese or overweight. That's 2 out of every 3 people. So healthcare sector is always going to do well. But as to my point with Tesla, a lot of that has to do with regulation. So regulation is really going to affect how healthcare stocks do. It just depends on what kind of company it is. Obviously, I'm just talking very broad terms. Healthcare is going to be a great future long-term sector. That's my opinion. Wen Cheng says, no worries, I'm a minor swing trader. That was from a while ago, so thank you for that. Viral funny video. Nice to see you, buddy. I've seen you commenting lately. I appreciate you watching the channel. What do you see in JD for the long term? I do not follow JD. I know my buddy Ryan Scribner. He's got a great channel if you guys don't know about him. He made a video talking about, I believe, how he bought $10,000 worth of JD. I just don't know much about them. I know they're supposed to compete. They're a Chinese tech stock. They're supposed to compete a little bit with Alibaba. Let me see what analysts are saying so I can at least give you some value. JD.com, right now it's trading at $22.58, up about 1%, not 1%, 0.1% since Friday. So the analysts that I follow, there's 7 total on this stock. 3 are recommending a buy, 3 are recommending a hold, and 1 is recommending a sell. The high price is $43. The average target price is $34, which is still a 50% upside. And the low is $25. So even the low target price over the next year is still higher than what it's at today. But I just don't know. I don't know much about it. Let's see what the blogger opinions are about this company. So we got someone from the street saying 5 emerging stocks to buy, JD.com. It says, I don't know what to say about JD other than the stock has been absolutely decimated with a 52-week high of just over $50, and with the stock now under 25, JD is officially down more than 50% from its January highs. So there you go. So JD is not a company that I would invest in just because a lot of Chinese accounting is not legit. And I'm not saying that to pick on the Chinese. I actually like Chinese people, and I like Chinese food too. A lot of Chinese accounting, and I'm not saying that's the reason for the drop in the price of JD. I'm just saying in general, Chinese companies' auditing standards are not the same as American auditing standards. And trust me, I'm not like pro-American auditing or anything like that. I'm just saying that, those numbers could be fudged and you get swings like this. So if I lost 50% of my portfolio, it wouldn't ruin me. I wouldn't be devastated. It's just money. But at the end of the day, what the hell are you trading for? Like, why are you investing in these stocks? Because you think they're going to go to the moon and you want to drive a Lamborghini. That's probably why. So I guess high risk, high reward. You have to be rewarded for your risk, and you can also get your legs cut out from under you like this. So some quick info here. The company has a $35 billion valuation and is expected to generate sales of almost $69 billion this year. So shares trade at almost 0.5 times this year's revenue, which is pretty cheap for an e-commerce player in one of the largest e-commerce markets in the world. I don't know. I don't know much about it. I just know that stocks like this are too much of a roller coaster for me. So sorry if that didn't provide you a great response. I'm just being honest here. So Nathan Grimard, do you think there's a future for financial analysts as a job? It's something I'm interested in, but scared of the impact of AI. Great question. So in commercial real estate, I did a lot of leasing. I did a lot of sales, did a lot of marketing. I actually did a lot of pro formas, buying and selling big, $1 million plus buildings. And I also did a lot of loan analysis. So I worked for a commercial real estate mortgage broker, and we were getting deals all over the place, from $1 million deals to $50, $200 million deals. I didn't work on any of the $200 million ones, but I was definitely in the $1 to $20 million range. I'm an analyst. I'm still an analyst. I work for a big regional bank here. And I underwrite deals. So I'm in and out of financial spreads all day long. And that's a very good question. Right now, we are outsourcing a lot of our work to India, but that could easily be impacted by AI. But I don't think that's going to be 15, 20, 30 years from now. That's going to be, excuse me, I misspoke. I meant to say that's probably going to be 15, 20, 30 years from now. So that's a good question. If you're young, that's definitely something to think about. I think that if you have that financial skill set, there will always be work for you to do, but that's definitely an area to be concerned about. Being an analyst, being a CPA, any of these jobs that can be easily outsourced, accounting, auditing, all that stuff is going to be automated in the future. So at least you're thinking ahead, but yeah, definitely try and specialize a little bit if you're going to go that route. And it's a very respectable job as well. It'll give you a good career. Hello from Prague. Have you ever been in Prague? Or overall Czech? So I've landed in Prague many times. Flying over it is beautiful. I know it's kind of like a mini Budapest, very clean, very cultural. I've never been there to visit, but I would love to. Czech women are beautiful. The city is beautiful. Don't tell my wife I said that. You can tell her I said the city is beautiful, but not the women. Wen says the layout is great. Nice. Thank you. Become a better you. Well, I'm half Bulgarian, half Italian. I have family in both those countries, so Montenegro is like the middle. We can definitely make it work. Great. Nice. My best friend's wife is Bulgarian. Very cool. And he's Italian, actually. He's from Palermo. Eric Gwick, your logo on the TV is hard to read. Maybe change the blue for white so it's easy to read. Very true. I just didn't have time to do that. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Thank you, though. Stream seems good. Screen is good on my end. Thank you, guys. Do you think SQM, lithium battery company, is a good buy now in this dip since companies like Tesla need lithium batteries? So a good question. I just bought an electric bike recently. I know that sounds really weird, but yeah, I bought an electric bicycle. So I bike to work when I can, when the weather permits. So it's a big lithium Bosch battery. So I understand the power of lithium technology. The charge is great. I charge it once for about 4 or 5 hours, and it gets me on the fastest setting, going about 28 miles an hour. Pedal assisted while I'm pedaling. I can go up to 28 miles an hour really easily. And it lasts about 27 miles. So I can definitely get to work and back a couple times a week just on one charge. So talking about that company specifically, I don't know anything about it. Lithium batteries in general, I think it's going to be the trend here for a while until, just as always, someone comes out with a better fuel cell or a better way to hold or store that energy. So just make sure with companies like this that they're always coming out with new products or better ways, adjusting for the future, if you will. So I don't know anything about them. The one analyst that's commenting on it is saying that it's a hold, and he has it at a $51 high, which is a 20% upside of where it's at right now. And that gentleman, I believe, is Lawrence Alexander, if you want to look into him. So don't know much about the company. Let's see if there's any news going on with it. SQM is a top dividend stock right now. Should you buy? That's according to Yahoo Finance 5 days ago. So look into that a little bit further. I like dividend stocks, so maybe I'll start taking a look at that. So Wen Cheng says, thought you worked for Microsoft. I worked for, yes, last year I did. I was an account manager at one of the biggest Microsoft resellers in the Midwest. So we sold Microsoft's entire suite of CRM, ERP software, accounting software, manufacturing software, Office, Skype for Business, everything. I know the whole product suite like the back of my hand. Yeah, I did work for a reseller of Microsoft. So that what that means is it's kind of like a car dealership. If you go to Bob Smith Chevrolet, Bob Smith doesn't make the Chevrolets, he just sells them. That's kind of the company that I worked for. I worked for a company that sold the product and also installed it and set it up. Brett Ray says, thoughts on stock market volatility lately? Do you see more downside in the short term? Also, do you think the U.S. and China will come to a fair trade deal eventually? Sorry, I'm all over the place, you guys. Love the channel. Thanks for your input. Thank you so much for the kind words, Brett. I really appreciate it. So the volatility lately, there's a lot of different factors. I think one is that we've been in a bull market for about 9 years. I think the China trade war has something to do with it. Saudi Arabia news over the past couple weeks has definitely been a part of it because that's linked to oil and good standing and diplomatic ties and all that stuff. And to answer the second part of your question, do I think that the U.S. and China will come to a fair trade deal eventually? Absolutely. They're almost, I don't want to say attached at the hip, but so much business goes back and forth between, I know I'm kind of pointing it all over the place here, but so much business kind of goes between China and the United States. It's just a mutually beneficial relationship to do so. I think Trump is kind of just trying to send a message here and just say, hey, I'm not going to take your crap, and vice versa. China's a powerhouse. They don't have to necessarily just trade with the United States, but as everyone knows that there's definitely a trade deficit. We import a lot more from China than we export. But there's so many manufacturing firms and that are reliant upon China that it's not even funny. So good question. So viral video, I'm a very big fan. You helped me a lot. Thank you so much. Tell your friends about the channel. I've been grinding so much and working so hard on getting this channel to grow. We're at 12,000 subscribers. We just surpassed that, I believe, earlier in the week, which is great. But I'm looking to grow this so much more. I think the value that I provide, and I'm not tooting my own horn, I really mean this. I think the value that I provide is one of the top on YouTube in regards to a finance channel. So I know Jeremy's great. I know Ryan Scribner's great. Shout out to my buddy the Monk. Monk is always a good channel to watch. I'm just trying to get up there in terms of subscribers with those guys because I think I deserve it. Aravind Kumar, your microphone is like eye, your chat box is like hand, your TV is like heart, your home is like leg, but you are like blood. Without you, it is incomplete. This guy cracks me up every week, dude. This dude is hilarious. So I will say, just by your name, I'm guessing that you're, somewhere, in Asia, India, wherever that may be, Pakistan, Bangladesh, whatever. Dude, you crack me up. Indian people, they were my most favorite professors in college when I was studying finance. Their sense of humor is hilarious. They were always very friendly. They always knew how to mix it up, how to chat, how to banter back and forth. Very good people. And I'm noticing a lot more people from that region of the world moving into the area that I live in, and they all seem like very good people. Nathan Grimard, what would you recommend between investing or traveling while you're young? I'm talking younger than 20 years old. Traveling, absolutely traveling. Try and set aside a portion of your money to invest because the earlier you start, the more compound interest works in your favor. However, traveling is priceless. You only live once, dude. Money is not everything. Money is a portion of your life, and having money could also result to freedom later on. But you don't want to be one of those people that saved. Next thing you know, you're 70 and you can't move. And then you're like, hey, I can't wait to go climb Machu Picchu and go look at, the Incas and all that stuff in Peru. Like, dude, travel while you're young. You never know who you may meet. You never know. You may meet the love of your life while you're traveling. Traveling, it's kind of like a horse with the blinders on. The less you travel, this is all you know. The more you travel, it takes those blinders off, you guys. So traveling, it gives you perspective on different cultures. It gives you perspective on how different people live. It's priceless, you guys. You only live once. Money's only money. I know that sounds weird to say on a finance channel, but I absolutely recommend traveling. Now, when you're later on in your life, yeah, get your stuff together, dude. Like, make sure that make sure that all your financial house is in order. But yeah, younger than 20, definitely travel. So Wen Chang, that's what brought to SQM the dividend. Okay, very good. Yeah, we all appreciate the grind and hard work. Thank you so much. Are you looking to buy Alphabet on the dip soon, or are you waiting for the volatility to settle? The volatility, yeah, it's definitely volatile, but if you sign up to my weekly stock report, there's a link down below. I actually recommended Google as an 8 out of 10 for a buy rating, and a lot of the analysts that I follow and myself, it's a strong buy at this point. I think quarter two is strong going into quarter three. Dude, it's freaking Google. It's Skynet. They own every aspect of your life. That's a stock will always be a staple in my portfolio. Everything about, let's use this for example. Let's use YouTube and this phone for example. I have a Gmail email. Oh, sorry guys, I just knocked the microphone. I have a Gmail email account. I'm streaming on YouTube. YouTube is owned by Google. I have an Android phone, okay, with a Gmail account, and my whole life is on this phone. All my text messages, everything is on here. So ultimately, Google knows everything about me. My inbox, my messages, what I'm talking about. This thing is probably recording when I'm not even, searching for anything. It's listening to me right now. Everyone knows that. So yeah, Google's going to be around here for a long time. Let's see. Wen Chang, how many countries have you been to, if you don't mind me asking? So I've been all over the place. I don't know off the top of my head. Obviously, I live in the United States, been to Canada, been to Serbia, Montenegro, Budapest, which is Hungary, been to Paris, France, been to London, England, been, I don't know, all over the place, you guys. It's just more than I can remember. I have a lot of family in Europe. I love traveling the world. My next stop, I definitely want to make it to Asia. Asia's pretty cool. I love Asian food. Asian people are, they crack me up. They're very good. They're funny people, in my opinion. They're kind of like Indian people. They have a very good sense of humor. Swing trade stocks. How is your portfolio doing year to date? So that information is private. You can follow the WhiteBoard Finance portfolio. I think it's at like 15% after getting crushed over the last couple weeks here. It was at 38% ROI. Now it's at right around like 15, 16. My stock portfolio is private unless you are a member of my private group, which I'm going to be releasing here in the next week or so. So that's actually a good segue into the group. So the group itself is going to be packed with so much freaking value. It's not even funny. I look at some of these other people, the value that they're providing. I don't know how they justify their costs. They're only providing a very minuscule aspect of what you can actually provide with a stock market membership group. So I'm going to be providing, let me pull it up here just so I make sure I got my ducks in a row. So we're going to have private access to my actual real portfolio. It's 6 figures. It's over 100 grand. You're going to get access to all my trades, when I make them, why, what stocks I'm watching. It's going to give you one private live stream per month to just discuss what's going on in general with your portfolio, with my portfolio, stocks that I'm watching, et cetera, et cetera. And then also my buddy who works at an equity research firm, I'm going to get linked up with him. He's going to provide me one Wall Street quality equity research report per month. These reports, the buy side, if you're on a hedge fund or a hedge fund manager looking for every little edge in the market and different ratings and things like that through the channel, these hedge funds, they pay thousands of dollars for these reports, and it's going to be in my monthly membership group, one a month. It's going to be a complete deep dive on a stock. So it's going to be absolutely awesome, you guys. So if you're interested in learning more about that membership group, at least sign up for my weekly stock picks, and that way I can contact you through that email. So let's see, any more questions here? What would be recession-proof stocks? It's been a couple years without a correction, so I don't want to lose like 50% of my portfolio after a correction when one comes. Oh, sorry, I missed a lot of questions up here. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to go in order. Patrick Connolly, are you a Browns fan? I guess by default, like I'm 30. The Browns came back to Cleveland in 1999. I've only seen like 21 losing seasons in a row, and it's kind of annoying. But I did go to the game where we whooped your guys' butt. Baker Mayfield, baby. I was at the Browns-Ravens game like 3 weeks ago with my buddy. 6 seats. It was awesome, dude. Game-winning field goal. So sorry that you lost to the Browns, but what can you do? But yeah, I am a Browns fan. I support all Cleveland teams. Please share the invite. So at least sign up for the weekly stock pick, and that way I can share the invite through that, just so I can at least get your email. I'll share the invite in my future videos to my membership group, but click on the bit.ly link talking about free weekly stock picks. That way I can get you into that membership group as well. Let's see here. Nathan Grimard, what would be recession-proof stocks? It's been a couple years without a correction. So these have to be those big staples, like people like stocks that aren't gonna really move too much, like your your Johnson and Johnsons, your dividend aristocrats, your companies that aren't really gonna move during a recession or that are recession proof. Let's see here. Let me pull up some of my whiteboard finance. Okay. So let's see. Some of these like consumer staples, if you will, like Costco. Like people always shop at Costco, Walmart, companies like Walmart. They pay a decent dividend. People are always going to Walmart, whether it's a recession or not. People that make things like toilet paper, toothpaste, all these staples that are needed, whether the economy is doing good or not. Let's see, Dollar Tree. I know they did very well when commercial real estate was in the dumps. Dollar Tree was one of the biggest retail chains that just kept expanding like crazy. Let's see here. People definitely, I'm trying to look at some ideas here. Staples, healthcare. Some people start to eat crappier during a downturn because they're trying to save money. So any healthcare stocks as well. Just staples like Walmart, things like that. I know apartments, to get away from stocks, apartments have always done well in a recession. Storage facilities, so maybe look at stocks that are publicly traded storage facilities, where you kind of have to keep your crap if you lose your house or lose your butt. That happened a lot in 2008, 2009. A lot of foreclosures to where people had to move into apartments and all their stuff was in these storage facilities. So take a look at that. I know Warren Buffett invests in one of those guys. I forgot what the ticker symbol is, but they only focus. They're a REIT that only focuses on storage facilities. It looks like my fire went out here because the room is like 8 million degrees right now, and it's set on an automatic temperature. Okay, what else we got here, you guys? Cavs fan, absolutely. I've been a Cavs fan. Oh, what's up, Brandon? How you doing? Nice to see you. You never called me, dude. Call me back. I've been playing phone tag with Brandon here for a week, trying to get a collab, but I guess he's too important or too big now. Come on, bro. So Cavs fan, absolutely. I've been a Cavs fan since I was 6 years old. The Cavs historically were good when I was super young, like 4 or 5, 6 years old. Then they sucked for a really long time. They had players like, Ricky Davis, who's one of my favorite players. Darius Miles, Lamont Murray, Wesley Person, just all these old school legends. And then LeBron came along, and then everybody and their mom was a Cavs fan. Cavs, definitely. We've dominated Toronto every year. Nothing to say there. So I'm not going to rub it in too much, bro. Nathan, what's up, Brandon? Nice to see another Canadian. Yeah, there's a lot of support from Canadians on my channel. I think it has a lot to do with my weed stocks. I love the Canadians. Like Canadian people in general. Very friendly. I'll get you back, not this year. So swing trading stocks. The funny thing is when corrections happen, people run from tech, and once the correction passes, tech is back again. Very true. Tech is one of those like hot sectors like Bitcoin. It's very has that allure, you know what I mean? FANG stocks, and I think tech is what young people know, so they gravitate naturally towards tech. Like they're not going to look at like 3M, that makes like, consumer products. They're going to look at stocks that are sexy. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I absolutely love, Facebook. I love this. I love that. It's because they use it every day and that's what they know. So good point. Dividend stocks can't even make back the gains these tech names make for them year after year. Adobe, Amazon, Google, very true. Yeah, a lot of those companies are not sexy. So yeah, you're absolutely right. So look at the long-term horizon and the growth ETFs over the long term. Very true. VUG has a growth ETF that I've held forever. It's in my Vanguard portfolio. That thing has absolutely crushed it, you guys. What is my tech on biotech and defense stocks? Any picks from this sector? So biotech, that's always your high risk, high reward. All it takes is one patent from the FDA, and that stock is going through the roof. But those are also high risk. There's obviously biotech stocks that are more established companies, but I haven't really played in that area too much. Defense stocks, I don't know. I can't morally support those kinds of companies. They profit off of death and off of war. I don't even go there, like, to be honest with you. So, swing trades, LOL. So guys, we are coming up on an hour here. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm starving. I'm smoked. I've been talking for an hour straight. It's like 800 degrees in this room, dude. I'm surprised I'm not sweating my butt off. Thank you so much for joining me. Sign up for the weekly stock pick email. And if you're interested in joining my private membership group that we'll be launching here soon, you're going to have equity analysis. You're going to have monthly hotlines, private live streams. It's going to be an incredible amount of value for the money that I'll be charging. So please consider joining that. And again, if you want to get on that email list, I'll make a landing page for that specifically. But until then, sign up for the weekly stock picks so I know that you're interested. Thank you so much, guys. Have a prosperous day. You guys are the freaking best. Have a good one.